breakthrough innovation, leading trait technology, innovative breeding, exceptional yield potential. Now that's powerful performance from DeKalb.
Clubroot is a big issue, not only for the obvious fact of how it reduces yields in fields currently, particularly in the Edmonton area, but more for the fact of the risk that it poses, because it's really acted quite differently than what anyone would have expected. It was a soil-borne disease, and when it was found first in 2003, no one really expected that it was going to be a huge threat to the industry. It's a soil-borne disease. They just kind of sit and stay in one spot and cause some yield loss, but they don't jump fences or jump roads or jump counties or jump provinces, but that's exactly what this particular organism has done. And so, yeah, all kinds of alarm bells went off about 5-6 years ago that this is a much bigger issue than what we really thought.
In terms of producers, we don't have a significant feel for what actual yield losses are in Western Canada on a sort of an individual farm basis, and then putting it in aggregate. But we know from incidences of dealing with growers specifically that yield losses can be up to 100% in a field, or they can be very low but spread throughout the field. So you have 2 to 3, 4%, sort of this insidious small yield loss each and every year, spread across different farm locations. Economically, if you put things into perspective, that it's a $15 billion crop, indirect and direct, $10 billion of return back into the farmer or farm-related economy, then 2 to 3% yield loss becomes very significant economically.
Yeah, the thing about the organism that causes it to be a bigger risk than we thought is that it's been extremely good at exploiting the way that we farm, which is pulling iron through soil. And essentially it's just hitching a ride along with any equipment that basically comes into contact with soil. And again, like we didn't think that it was going to be quite that big of a deal, and we didn't realize how much soil we were actually moving from one field to another. And now we kind of have a good idea that tractors and average soil moisture conditions can be transferring 200 to 300 pounds of soil along with the implement that they're pulling behind them. So that's a lot of soil that's being moved, and we're not just moving it from one field immediately to the next one. We're ending up moving it from one field to another field in another province, and that's kind of a scary situation.
A lot of times the focus of growers will switch from prevention to management. So obviously, first and foremost, trying to keep it out of their farm and away from their farm, and doing that by sanitation measures or not introducing it through equipment or any means that they can do to keep it away. However, sometimes unbeknownst to growers, Clubroot appears on the farm, so it then shifts to a management kind of procedure and protocol for the grower. So things like washing between fields, selecting kind of the order of which you seed your fields is even important. So, going from an infested field to a non-infested field isn't a good idea. So things like leaving the infested field to the end, so you only have to wash your equipment once at the end of seeding. Trying to keep away from equipment that you're unsure where it's been prior to coming to your land, if it's custom equipment, or even oil lease management people that need to enter your land. Hopefully you know where they've been before they come on your land, and have a protocol set in place, which is really important to have a protocol, because if you don't have a protocol yourself for your farm, then you can't really ask much of your neighbors or the oil industry or anyone entering your land. But if you have a protocol in place, likely it will be followed, and hopefully the farmer is following his own protocol as well, which would include cleaning and removing loose soil and keeping traffic to a minimum coming in and out of the field, maybe growing a resistant variety once they find it on their field, extending a rotation, controlling volunteer canola and weeds that are host to clubroot, like shepherd's purse or stinkweed and things like that. So it really does shift from keeping it away to a managing it kind of attitude on the farm.